back in around like just the whole, we're not the kids anymore. We got to actually do the planning. I think back in the day, that's what made, I guess for me, not even think about other holidays. Because I knew we had a whole slew of activities and like just a couple days of just fun already kind of planned out. Whether we was just either going, picnics or like we go to what was it? We go to some of those parks. What was it, Sleeping Giant? Or we go to the movies, or I think one year when we was it was a little older. Then they had the Muslim Day at Six Flags. But they still do.
They still do it.
All the ones in New Jersey,
yeah.
Those are good.
But they started doing it in New England as well.
Yeah,
we went to New England as well.
I think they had one this year actually.
Yeah, but just having those activities like planned out, that I guess that can kind of make up. If you think of as a younger child that maybe want to influence to you kind of celebrate other holidays. Well, if you have at least something that's like there for them to have a good time, then maybe that can kind of counteract that.
Yeah, because when you really think about it, I mean, the non-Muslims really only have Hanukkah and Christmas where you actually get gifts and stuff like that. So our Eid was kind of like that.
Birthdays too.
Oh, birthdays too, yeah. But like for us, we were looking forward to Eid every year, so we really didn't have to worry about the Christmas because that only came one year.
Eid list.
Yeah, we got the Eid. Yep,
The
exactly.
Eid list.
The Eid list. And yeah, man, our parents made it happen. Every year we had something going on. We always got our presents.
Yeah.
We had great festivities. We went to people's houses, the potlucks and all that stuff.
Yeah, the potlucks.
Man.
Oh man,
Yo,
just shout out to Sister Bahia, man. She used to,
the
she used to
spread.
throw down, man.
The spread.
I specifically remember those egg rolls, man. She would make an egg roll out of
egg
anything,
rolls,
man. I
yeah,
was tearing them things down.
Yeah. But there wasn't the Indonesian brothers used to have. They used to live in West Haven.
Yeah.
They still have their house open, and they would like make all types of food.
Yeah,
man. It used to be so good, man.
Yeah,
I definitely miss those days.
I know, man. I
definitely miss
bro.
those.
Like,
We gotta bring it back, inshallah.
Like
man.
everybody now is trying to eat. Like I remember you talked about on another episode, but like everybody's trying to eat like different ethnic foods, man. That was just normal for us.
Yeah,
man. We had food from all around the world. Bro.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
that was just normal. We used to go to like Novel's house, and his mom would throw down, and we'd be.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna find that in no restaurant here in America. The kind of
I
food
know
he's eating.
exactly.
Yeah.
Even when we just in the master for like Harvest class, like somebody would bring food and they'll bring a whole spread from another part of the world that you would never find in any restaurant here in America
He was eating there for lunch.
for lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nowadays, that's like Instagram worthy stuff.
Yeah,
like that's
exactly,
like trendy now.
But I just tried this today, guys. Look what I just
Yeah.
tried. It's
I
like,
think I had a baklava. Is that how it is? But we've been eating baklava.
Yeah.
You late?
eating that for 40 years, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Nah, that it was just a great time. Just more so, just not even just the activities, just the community and being around so many Muslims that like, again, didn't celebrate those other holidays, and we all came together. We had our thing, and it was just a day of joy. You know?
And I think it has definitely got bigger though. I don't know if it's just
Think so?
me. I think it's gotten bigger.
Well, it's more recognized.
It's more culturally acceptable throughout America.
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Because people say happy Eid now.
yeah,
too.
but I also feel like more people are making it their job to make sure they're at the Eid prayers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm seeing
right,
like
that's
it
true.
packed out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I've been to West Haven, Bridgeport.
There's also
and
just more Muslims.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, there was a time where it wasn't that packed, yo. It was like,
Yeah, those
you
years
know.
after 9/11, the crowd got lighter.
yeah, it definitely got lighter. Yeah. So
It got
I
lighter
ain't gonna
for
lie, I was definitely shook though. Every time I used to go to the Eid prayers, yo, I used to always be scared, yo.
What were you scared of?
Just some random crazy person just wilding out. That's
You just
like,
thought somebody was gonna do some like
there's some
attack
yeah,
Muslims
like
type of thing?
that was like one of my biggest fears, yo.
I don't know. I was kind of. I was just like I was on some stuff like I hope somebody would, like not
Yeah.
really hope somebody would, but
Yeah.
like, man, don't get
I
it
might-
twisted.
I mean, looking at him, if you're trying to pray, look at the top of the plaza. You see a sharpshooter, yo.
Right.
Like,
Start watching movies, man.
yeah, I know exactly.
That's all that is. But you realize how much like propaganda, how much crap was put in the movies like since then. Like
Yeah,
I mean, it was already there
exactly.
before then. If you really look at movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger's, going there killing like, thousands of like people that are obviously Muslim descent. Like those
Yeah.
images go in people's subconscious,
That's
and that
crazy,
makes
yo.
people
I didn't
look
even think
at
about it.
Muslims in a certain way. This is propaganda, yo.
Even Indiana Jones. Think about Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, like everybody was in a turban running around. And I forgot what country they were actually in. Was it in India or something like that? Or
Not sure.
Somewhere I think in the Asian.
Yeah. But yeah, they all had turbans. They actually looked. You would consider them Muslim.
You would hear them saying stuff. You hear them saying Allahu Akbar and stuff like that. Like,
but that's crazy how now that you've said that. That's crazy.
100%. That is programming, bro.
Yeah.
That is programming to make people look at a group of people a certain way based off of movies. Like movies in general. Like when we're young, we look at them as entertainment.
Yeah. Somebody
is directing. Somebody is putting very thoughtful, like a thought process into making this film.
Yeah.
There's messaging there.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's like overt or it's like, kind of undertones there. There's messaging there. And and like going back as an adult, watching like a lot of movies, like especially like our American action movies and they're fighting or war movies. Yeah. Who are they fighting, yo? Who are they taking down? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and I get that. And it's almost like that in any country. There's probably some sort of like movie around like the some patriotism to that country. So I get that, but that just random thought made me just remember like as kids. And then you said with the whole make somebody sharpshooting you from the roof.
Yeah, but it was always like just a great time, man. We definitely have to make sure that we step our game up, man, when it comes to Eid. Try to plan some events. Yeah. It's easy to do it, man. We just gotta like just do it pretty much.
Yeah, we just gotta plan it out, man.
Yeah,
like
we got a year.
Some kind of camp or picnic or something, man. Like just do something that just like, okay, we have something for the younger generation.
Yeah.
Our kids.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
What about like an alternative for Halloween? Think we can find an alternative for Halloween?
What do you mean alternative?
What, like something on that day?
No, just like, because obviously a lot of Muslims have kids. Like, do you think we should, not create an alternative, but do something instead of Halloween or have some type of distraction, basically?
On that day or just?
Or yeah, just during that time of the year. Because I feel like Halloween, the kids feel the social pressure more than anyone. And then when they get older, they may want to celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? So, what can we do besides just telling them it's forbidden?
Well, I've heard
a candy party.
A candy party?
Halloween. Put a little twist on it.
Do not take that suggestion.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
you say Halloween. That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know if like if doing something on that day makes sense. I just think the education needs to be there. Exactly, with you, man. Like you said, when we were younger, we just told don't do it because we don't do it. But like kids nowadays are smarter. They're the most educated generation we've ever had because they have the access to this information. So I think just the education, or at least telling them why we don't do it.
Yeah, because nowadays they can look it up themselves too.
Yeah, but even when you look it up, there's still not like specific details on why.
Well, you got to know where to look, and I think it starts with educating ourselves,
right?
So that we can educate the younger generation, right? So because if the kid understands why, then it'll make more sense, right? Like because it's not like back in the day, it was like, okay, well, you ain't do it, you was getting roasted. These kids are a lot more intelligent, man. They're like, oh, he doesn't celebrate it. I'm cool with that. And this is why he doesn't. Now you have a reason. That's my thought, is just the education, just understanding, even if you don't know everything, just understanding some of the basics of why these type of holidays are forbidden in Islam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Based on your beliefs. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think in this day and age, especially the younger generation, they're smarter, they're more socially aware than any other generation. I don't think they I think they'll be receptive of that.
Yeah, but at the same time, I've still seen like Muslim families like take their kids trick or treating. Like you see it on social media. You'll see it. Like people still.
That's certain people though.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't look at just because that Muslim did it. It's like all Muslims got to do something. That's just them. Like we don't know what their situation is. Like you see, and especially when it comes to social media, you only see a portion of what's going on, right? Like you just see whatever they decide to post. It's forbidden in Islam. There's no sugarcoating it, right? even if you do it, you know it's wrong, right? Like none of us are perfect. We're all human, right? The worst thing you can do is like commit a sin and then try to justify it. Like if you commit a sin, go ask for forgiveness.
Yeah,
but you know
exactly.
it's wrong.
Yeah,
like there's
wrong.
no
Yeah,
Islam. There's no like, oh well maybe. Nah, Islam is pretty direct on what we can do and what we can't do. So like you can't look at one person doing something and be like, hey, well now we got to figure out a Halloween. I don't know if that.
but I also think, like you said, that you have the kids have the social pressure and everything. But I feel like the parents have a lot of pressure too.
Of
because
course,
it's like if you think about it, like you say, your daughter's just or your son just got to a certain age, and obviously they want and now. Like we've been talking about, like that is so commercialized, you kind of forget it because there's no religion, I guess, back towards it. It's just
In
like
this
another day.
yeah.
It's like, yo, it's a day we put on a costume, you get candy, and that's it. You're not doing no worship or anything like that. But when you actually, obviously when you do the research, you know what the actual holiday's about. You know what I mean? But I feel like now it's just people do it just because.
Well, I think it comes back to education. Most people don't know. Most people won't
even people
do
who
research.
are non-Muslim don't know.
They don't know.
They just like,
100%.
it's Halloween. Yeah, we just go.
Yeah, it's what we do. Why do you celebrate Halloween? Because it's the time I go get candy. What you talking about?
Exactly.
Why you know what I'm saying?
No one really knows the backstory of Halloween.
But I mean, there's also a constant reminder too. Like you said, everywhere you look, you're in the stores, you're looking at billboards. Halloween is just everywhere.
You should question that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're an educated person or you're a person that wants to understand or seek knowledge, Muslims, that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We're supposed to seek knowledge. We're supposed to be constantly trying to learn more about our religion. So like to your question about like the social pressure, there's gonna be social pressure.
Yeah,
that's
social
life.
pressure about
You
everything.
can't escape that. But that's why Islam gives you this blueprint essentially to navigate that. You know, so if you feel social pressure is stronger than I guess our faith, then maybe we need to learn more or get around somebody or ask somebody that knows more. You know, you can't. I don't think you can. That's an excuse essentially. Like social pressure is the reason why I'm doing. You can use it as an excuse, but that's not how we're supposed to operate as Muslims. Because no matter what, society is always going to change. Right? Our morals, our code of ethics does not change with the way society changes. Right? Because if it does, then you won't ever have and you won't ever stand for anything because it will always change. Right? Look at the things that are going on today as opposed to like 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Things that are acceptable in Western culture. Islam, it wasn't acceptable 1,400 years ago and it ain't acceptable today.
That's the truth, yo. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's really that simple, yo. If you really think about it, I mean, it's not acceptable, and we just shouldn't try to make it acceptable.
Exactly.
I mean? As hard as it can be, as much pressure it is, you just got to say, hey, what it really boils down to is just putting your foot down. Like, yo, that's it.
I mean, I feel like our parents' generation, I mean, they were very stern, but also at the same time, we never thought about this. Like our parents were non-Muslims for many years.
Yeah.
Most of their life, I mean, until they were like in their early 20s, were non-Muslims. So they experienced
Yeah.
many Halloweens, many Thanksgiving, many Christmases and Easters. They experienced all that.
Yeah.
So when you grow up in a certain culture or a certain religion and like, you've been deprived of certain things, when you get older, you're going to be curious about what's Halloween like? What is Christmas like? What are these holidays like? Because there's so much anticipation around these holidays and so much hype.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some curiosity there. I feel like no matter
But
who
even
you
if
are.
there's curiosity, doesn't mean that you have to act on it.
Right, of course.
And I think a lot of it comes down to like our environment, especially when it comes to kids, right? Like we're not as like to acknowledge that we're not acknowledge that we're weak makes us strong, right? We are weak in the sense is like don't put yourself in a position to like do something you're not supposed to do, right? So like change your environment if you feel like you're getting too much pressure, right? Around like, okay, my kid is hanging around these kids. These kids are not a good influence, right? Like my kid wants to do good, but if he keeps hanging around these kids that are doing bad, what are the odds of him doing something bad?
Yeah.
They're high, right? Yep. So you have to find a way to either change our environment, but there's no way. There's not. You can't like just say there's pressure. I'm getting social pressure. This stuff is around me. So let me just feel like I gotta fit it. Nah, that's not how Islam works.
Yeah.
Islam stands on what's in the Quran and the Sunnah.
Yeah, I just think it makes it living in this country, it makes everything 10 times harder.
100%.
You go to any other country.
No, but even
You're
in
not-
Saudi Arabia now, though, like you seeing people celebrating Halloween in Saudi Arabia
because they letting Western culture into the country.
Because it's also money. It's a
It's
money maker too.
There you
So
go.
it's like, all right, we'll accept it for now. You know what I mean? They probably won't make it like a holiday, like a national holiday.
But bro, that's how it is. It's always
it's
like
always
gradual.
little.
It ain't. It's
Yeah.
not like okay, we're strict Muslims now, and then tomorrow we're gonna be throwing Halloween parties. No, it's first. It's like
very subtle.
we'll let the Halloween parties be in this part of the country.
Yeah.
Oh, and then no, maybe during this concert we'll do this, and then it's like over time everything is gradual. So. That's why I was like, when it comes to like understanding that we're not strong, like don't even put yourself in a position to like be tempted, because over time, you're like, damn, look where I am. And I'm speaking to my own self. I'm speaking to myself, as someone who's grown up Muslim and got freedom and, kind of went out there in the world and like, tried and got into things that I know was not right. When according to Islam. And I look back, it's like, wow, how did I get there?
Right.
Yeah.
It was because I was like, let me just try this. And then once you start doing that and it's comfortable,
It becomes acceptable.
it becomes normal.
yeah,
and then it's like, what's the next thing, right?
Yep.
And then, look at the society we're in today.
And I think
with
I
everything that's
think
going
we've
on.
all experienced that. I mean, pretty much in any religion, you've been
if you've
taught
been-
a certain way not to do something at a young age.
Yeah.
And then as you got older, you kind of went on your own and you've explored, you've done all these things. But the holidays, I don't know. It's something about the holidays that, for me, it's just, it doesn't really, like, now that I'm older, it doesn't really get to me, But like when we were in our 20s, like it was more like curiosity. It was like, I'll go to a Christmas party, or I'll go to, like a Halloween party. And you went there, you didn't see anything that was,
It's like the grass ain't green on the other side, or like
exactly.
it's not what it.
But we would continue to kind of go to those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because it was like that's what we were people we were hanging around
Exactly.
with. You know what
exactly.
I mean? Like we weren't.
That's your surroundings.
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
Like if we were hanging around with people that weren't into that stuff, what are the likelihood that you going to Halloween parties or going to indulging in any of those kind of things?
Yeah.
And I will say that's like one of my biggest regrets. I mean, I wouldn't say regrets, but like you think about it now as you get older, and how we kind of like, did a little detour. You know what I mean?
I'll be honest, I distanced myself from the mashes.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was a kid.
I mean? Yeah.
And there's other reasons behind that, which that'll be a whole. That's a whole couple
exactly.
That's a whole TV series.
That's a TV series. Yeah, that's a Netflix show right there. But like that, just to be blunt, like by doing that, then okay, well, if you're not in this community, then what communities are you now trying to become a part of, and what circles are you starting to like, get entangled with? And then as you start to change those circles and move in different in different groups of people, then you start to adopt some of those characteristics, or things that they do, and habits that they indulge in. So.
Yeah,
it was. I would say it was a tough time, yo. I was completely lost, yo, for a while. Where it was like, I was just out there and like, oh, you do that? Oh, you do that? Oh, I didn't do that when I was a kid. I didn't get to do that. You know what I mean? It's just like you just start doing things, and now you look back, you're like, man, yo, how did I get?
Yeah,
how'd you get there?
It's very subtle though. Like
it's super subtle,
very subtle.
Exactly, yo. Like I didn't do nothing crazy. I wasn't wilding out there, but like like the things that I knew growing up that I wasn't supposed to do, you just kind of did, yo. You know what I mean? Like
I feel like it's kind of human nature too, though. Like if you've been deprived of something as a kid, even if your parents tell you don't touch the stove, it's hot. Yeah, you might touch the stove and burn your hand.
Yeah. But how many times you gonna do it and be like, okay, mom was right.
Right. Of course. I mean, for us too as well. Like growing up in the Muslim community, I feel like we had like a lot of structure and a lot of restrictions growing up.
Yeah.
So as you get older, you get freedom, and your friends like, yeah, I do this, I do that. You're like, there's no structure, there's no restrictions. There's like no restrictions. So when you're younger, obviously early 20s, that could become like a little interesting, and re's some curiosity there, just because there's like. You grew up in a very structured, restricted.
You feel sheltered a little bit.
Yeah. You grew up very sheltered with a bunch of restrictions. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't listen to music. So you get some freedom. That's not good for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not good for everybody.
Well, I did hear like a Sheikh talk about that. It was like some of the ways that we're taught Islam is wrong. It's more like taught what things you can't do.
Right.
When it should be more about what are the benefits of this way of
Right.
life.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And that makes a difference on how your perception of things are, right? Like as you get, well, not everybody, because again, alhamdulillah, I see things differently now.
Yeah,
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
But there's a lot of people that still don't, right? Like they, not to say they're lost, but still mindset is not understanding that everything that Islam teaches us is really for our benefit.
Exactly.
Exactly.
When you actually look at it honestly and not with your just out of your urges, because that's really where a lot of stuff. Because we're human, right?
Yeah,
right. That's where Islam gives us that structure to be like, okay, you're gonna have that pressure, but stick on this path because you're gonna see how this plays out better for you in the long run, right? And that's almost with anything in life, right? It's like there's always got to be that little bit of sacrifice to get like that short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Right.
Yeah.
Right out of school, it's like, I just want to make some money. Let me go work. All right, well, you take the little pain of like maybe not having enough money, going to school, and like maybe not being able to do the things you want to be able to make more money, right?
Right.
So the same thing with like things that you're supposed to hold, abstain from. It's like, well, you want to live a long, healthy life, well then don't do drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They feel good for right now, but then over 20 years of it, now you ain't got no teeth and your family, you abandon your family. Like, right? So it's like the same thing. Islam is like teaches that with everything that it tells us we're not supposed to do. So that in the long run, when you die, you get to the place that you've been promised.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I feel like you said, like growing up, it was always like, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But no one ever explained the benefits of not doing these things.
Yeah.
From a logical standpoint.
Yeah.
Exactly. From a logical standpoint.
If you think about just not eating pork,
Exactly.
I mean,
the health benefits of not eating pork.
The health benefits of not eating pork are insane.
Right.
And if you actually ever go to a farm and you see a pig, you see how he lives. He eats his own his poop, in mud and all that.
Mama made pork. I'm gonna eat pork.
But it's like, yo, and if you, I mean, every scientist, scholar has said,
Doctors will tell you
that pork is probably the worst thing that you can indulge in, yo.
Yeah.
And
Why do people still eat it?
people still eat it, yo. You know what I mean?
Tradition.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, like you said, it's one of those things where you do it because you can. We're in a place where it's like
It's accepted.
it's accepted. There's no laws against it.
Yeah.
It's like just do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for the next generation, since we have more access to information now, like you said, we have to explain the benefits of not doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In Islam, it says, you shouldn't gamble, you shouldn't do drugs, you shouldn't drink, because when you mix these things together, the results are not
That's
good.
what- yeah,
The
exactly.
results are not going to be good.
Well, you look at it. You can look at society and see, where we are.
Right.
Yeah.
With
we're-
all these things
yeah.
being, and the crazy thing is, there was a time when a lot of these things were
Yeah.
even
In our lifetime.
allowed.
Yeah, allowed.
In our lifetime.
Exactly, we're not allowed by law in this country. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So you got to say, well, why? Why wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
There's
a
real
huge-
reasons,
there's a
not
reason
just
why.
a religious reason.
Yeah.
There's real reasons why these things were against the law, because they saw the chaos
Right.
it created.
And Islam has forbidden it from the beginning of
exactly.
time. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And now
Exactly.
all this stuff is legal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And look what's going on. You see, it's complete chaos
Yeah.
right now.
Oh, listen, the whole sports gambling, that's going to be an epidemic in the
Yeah.
next 7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
You have
It's
gambling
bad already,
attached to
man.
your bank
Yeah.
account on your cell phone.
Exactly.
You're out at the gym or wherever you're at, all you hear people talking about sports
Yep.
gambling.
yeah.
It's forbidden in
Well, it's
Islam
all
for a
over.
reason.
It's all over
Yeah.
social
It's
media. yo.
everywhere.
Everybody posting
It's
something on it.
everywhere.
I mean, you get random people asking, "Hey man, should I do a parlay?" I'm like,
Exactly.
I know you.
Like-
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, it's bad.
And it's completely forbidden in Islam for a reason.
Yeah.
Because we're going to see the results of that in the next 7 to 10 years. It's going to be
Yeah.
really bad, man.
Because now it's what, you 18, you can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got kids in college, yo.
Yeah.
Gambling away their tuition money.
Exactly.
You know
On their
what I mean?
phones.
Like, on their phones.
It's like
It's easy access.
and that's the thing. It's like when you won't. A lot of people don't see it till it's too late.
Of course.
You know, when you're young, it's like, I can make some money, or I like sports, and then like, damn, I just blew away my whole opportunity. Like I'm in debt. I'm not even out of school yet. I'm in debt, or you might end up you may end up doing some stuff you probably shouldn't do to make some money to kind of feed that as well. So
right.
there's different avenues of paths that are bad that can come from just putting your foot into something that you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like Islam says, you make money off of off of that, that money's cursed.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yep.
if you really believe, like Islam's like, I'm not even gonna try to play it because the money ain't no good anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and you see the study, like people who win the lottery,
They go broke.
they all go broke into a deep depression.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, you were living a better life before you made the money or got the
It's
money.
crazy.
You know what I mean? You see it all the time.
But then, and that's just the small amount. And then think about all the people that just waste their money the whole lifetime and never win any. Never win.
Yeah.
You see it every day. You
Yep.
go to a corner
Yeah,
store.
they holding the line up.
I just trying to get a water, man. They be trying to pick like the.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you've been coming here for the last like 10 years. It's not gonna change.
You know, when I was in high school, I used to work at
Gas station?
BJ's, and they
BJ's.
I used to do because I used to work the customer service, and I had to do the
tickets?
lotto.
They do lotto at BJ's.
I
They
know
used
that.
to years ago. I don't know if they still do it
I
now,
know that.
but they did it back in the day.
Selling wholesale lotto tickets?
For real?
You gotta buy a 20 pack.
They had lotto. They
20
did
pack of
lotto.
scratch on. You
And
can't
I
just
was
buy
thinking
one.
to myself, I was like, yo, is this haram that I'm selling lotto tickets, yo? I never really thought about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I would think about it. But I was like, I mean, I'm not doing it, but yeah, they used to sell lottery at BJ's. I'm sure they don't do it anymore, yo.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
They had it. They had the lottery joint there, yo.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
But it's big. Sports betting is insane right now, man.
Yeah, man.
That alcohol.
That's what I'm saying. Think about it. Years ago on Sunday, alcohol, you couldn't
buy
serve
it.
alcohol in Connecticut on
Yeah.
Sundays.
Exactly.
Yeah, you
yo.
have to go to mass.
Yeah.
And now you can buy it anytime that you want.
You can buy marijuana,
Marijuana.
in Connecticut now.
Look, and this is a crazy thing, but this is kind of like more of like a race thing. But like, you see a smoke shop just like liquor stores.
Yeah.
Every other block
Yeah.
in the hood. You don't see them nowhere else, yo. In the
Yeah,
hood,
they
you
ain't-
see
they ain't
it.
letting them-
Yo,
they ain't
dude,
letting them in
it's,
the nice
it's
neighborhoods.
crazy, man. Everywhere you go, if it's a vacant spot, it's going to be a smoke shop soon,
Yeah,
yo.
it's big business, man.
It's huge, yo.
Every kid got some little gadget in their hand that they vaping from.
Oh, the
Yeah.
vape
Oh,
thing
the
is
vape-
serious, man.
Yo,
You
but-
could be in a corporate meeting, you'll see somebody just
Yeah.
in a meeting.
Yep. It's crazy.
Like, hold on a second, Joe. Let's circle back. Like, did you just rip a vape?
But you know
during
what's
a
the
meeting?
craziest part about it? And this goes back to like, Islam and it's telling, what's haram and what's
Right.
what's bad for you. Literally on the box, it doesn't say.
It said you'll die.
Yeah, it doesn't say like
You literally die,
You
yeah.
might get cancer. It says this will give you cancer.
Yeah.
This
The vapes or cigarettes? Tobacco?
Pretty much
Say
cigarettes.
tobacco products.
It says tobacco says this is an addictive substance, and it says this will give you cancer. It
Yeah.
says it on the pack. I was doing a job at a convenience store and I saw it. And I'm like, yo, in every pack that you buy, it tells you right on the label that this will, not might,
Yeah.
will give you cancer at
Yeah.
some point in time.
Yeah.
And people are vaping at
They're
an
addicted,
all-time
bro.
high, yo. And it's because it's addictive. It also says this is an addictive
Yeah.
substance. People say I'm not addicted to it. Yes,
And
you-
people
yes, you are.
start at a young age. That's the tough part, man. Like
Yeah.
I just remember when I was in like high school, like kids would be smoking at the bus stop.
Yeah.
It's like you're smoking at like 14. Like you're too young to be given this type of substance and to think you have any. I mean, even adults don't have control over it. But at that young,
Exactly, man.
you start that young, it's just start
Yeah.
you're going down a dark path there, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, for sure, like I said, for the next generation, we just got to educate them on the beauty of Islam and the benefits of the things that are forbidden in Islam, why we don't do these things. And here are the benefits on,
Yeah.
here are the benefits of fasting. Now there's so much science and information on the benefits of fasting.
Yeah.
The benefits of eating dates, the benefits of drinking water, the benefits of praying 5 times a day.
Yeah.
These are all things that, we knew growing up. There was just no, there was no like a lot of information on all these things we had growing up.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, like I said, the education I think is the biggest part, and then just the perception, like again, not teaching it from a standpoint of like, now you can't do that. You can't, like that was always the first thing. Oh, you Muslim, you can't eat pork.
Yeah, that
Right.
was the first thing.
It's like that.
everybody
That's
said,
like that. No, and I guess I don't know how that started. Maybe it started from like the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
'cause that was like the thing. And you can read the autobiography of Malcolm X. It's like, oh man, you ain't no swine. But yeah, like changing that from like you can't do this or you can't do this, 'cause
Right.
then you feel like restricted
Right.
to be like, look, it's really not a religion. It's a way of life.
It's a way of life.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And just like this is the way you can live the best life while you're
Yeah.
here.
1,000%.
And just try, right? Only thing you could do is try your best. I feel like a lot of times we get those you put those expectations on you, like you gotta be like like the Sahaba. And that's what, you want to
Of course.
strive
Yeah.
to, but like, give yourself grace. You're human. You also live in America. You got a lot of, pressures around you, but just try. Just do your best, I mean, that's the only advice I can give. And when you're talking about the younger generation, and trying to do something different from the way kind of we were taught, as we saw like a lot of people in our age group, that might have pushed them away. Yeah, man. I don't know if we got kind of off tangent there, but
went down a rabbit hole.
Nah,
Like
it's
the
all
sports
good, man.
gambling
But it's just it kind of all like comes in together, yo. Think about it, yo. Being Muslim, it's just we're faced with a lot of different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In this country, yo. So
I think
it comes all around.
To go off what you were saying, like, because you had said a little earlier about like, as we kind of got out, from high school, whatever, and like we started hanging in different circles. Like, I think that gives us a different point of view as well, because it may be just other Muslims that are in our kind of our age group and our generation that didn't, right? They kind of stayed that path, so they don't see it the way we seen it, because alhamdulillah, they kind of stayed on that path. But going down that path is like I can see things now from a different perspective, and it allows me to relate to people in a certain way. Like, I have non-Muslim friends that just like to just talk to me about certain things, and like I have friends that like, send me some more. I'll be sending them Islamic videos, like send me more of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like they don't feel like I'm coming at them saying, hey, like, you shouldn't do this, and I'm some religious man. I'm like, nah, man, I was in the trenches with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you from like you was my homie, and I see a different way of improving your life or improving my life, and like they want to hear more about it. So I think it's all valid. Like, Allah is the best of planners, yo. Like, you don't want to plan to like go off the path, but like, everything happens for a reason. Allah allowed me to still be here.
Exactly.
And that's kind of where this whole thing came from. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback, and shout out to everybody that's been tapped in. But I think it's all needed. All perspectives are needed, because you'll be able to touch different groups of people.
Absolutely.
Through your life experience.
Because we're definitely not sitting up here acting like we were angels for
not at all. Not by any means.
And but it's just, when you go through things, yo, and as you get older, like you said, Allah has blessed us to be here sitting in these chairs and actually, giving our perspective. Because not everybody's fortunate to do that. You know what I mean? Like, there's people who've lost their lives doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? And alhamdulillah, we're still here. So I mean, it's I mean, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. But yeah, it's a good thing that we're doing this. So sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, the holidays are coming up. Because I feel like growing up as well, like just with the whole music thing, not being deprived of music. Yeah. Even during the holidays, like
we did have minute raps, man. Come on, man. We weren't
shout out to the minute raps crew.
Shout out to minute raps.
Yeah.
But even with just like the social pressure of just the music, hearing Santa Claus is coming to town and all these jingles, you're hearing all these songs.
They
like,
catchy. It's
like
a catchy jingle.
I've seen Muslims with thobes on singing the Donny Hathaway. What's the song he got? This Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like the songs are very catchy. You hear it. It's all around you.
And when you come, like my dad listened to a lot of music, and he stopped as when he was younger. He used to a lot of like Anita Baker and stuff like that. Whitney Houston, and I mean, he's definitely more artist. But when he got more into religion, he cut that out. But I felt like when I was listening to that, I was probably like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And those songs, like the R&B and all that stuff, it stuck in my head.
Yeah.
So when I would hear, and then I worked in retail when I was
you hear it all day.
So you hear it all day, and I would be singing Christmas carols, not even realizing
you
that
realize, it's in your subconscious.
I'm not even realizing I'm singing it, but it's just.
What's your favorite Christmas carol?
We won't go there.
Oh man,
but that's like you said, that's the power of like your brain at that age, man. That's why it's important to like make sure you're giving your kids the best, right? Like trying to feed their brains with like the best you possibly can. Like same thing. I'd hear those jams. I'm like, I don't know why I'm getting this nostalgic feeling, but I would hear these he's the music of my childhood. And even though we weren't playing music like that in the house, you know, I was in the hood, so I was hearing it out of people's cars, and you know, so alhamdulillah, everything happens for a reason.
Knowing, I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna start a family. Yeah. But here it's like they tell the women out here, they say, yo,
live your life.
Live your life. Get
a degree.
Fun.
I mean,
think about how many chicks you know growing up that have no kids, aren't married, not in a relationship, but have great careers.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you
living
your life for?
And that's fine if that's what they want. You know, it is what it is. But just, you know, not to go on no Kevin Samuels rant, but the studies already show like
it's not
that's not what they want.
Exactly.
You know, like they don't feel good. Like your money and your career ain't gonna hold you at night.
Yeah, it's not.
It ain't gonna make sure that the robber ain't coming through to get you. You know what I'm saying?
But not even that. It's just that the God put us on this earth
to be together,
and reproduce.
You know what I mean? And reproduce, yo. So the next so we have people for the next generation, yo.
Yeah.
If we go down this rabbit hole we going down now, they ain't gonna be, the population is gonna be nothing, yo.
Or if we having children out of wedlock, then you see like the studies already show how like children are affected by that. Mm-hmm. Like they're affected by not having their mother and their father in the same home. Like we benefited from having that.
Exactly.
Man. Like,
I'm
gonna be honest with you. Like I have friends that would tell me like I need therapy, yo.
Yeah.
Like I've dealt with some stuff by being raised by only my mom, or, you know, just, and not to say the mother didn't do everything she could, but it's just that's not how we were created. We were created to like
have a man. It's a balance.
Takes two.
You need that balance.
So, yeah.
Takes two.
But why do you think we've gotten so far away from like, you know, just, you know, in American culture, but more specifically in Black American culture?
Beyonce, let me stop.
Oh my goodness, you about to have the beehive people on it.
It's really just the society that we live in, yo. It's they push sex, they push drugs, they push all these things.
Party, alcohol, turn up.
Yeah.
The music is pushing misogyny.
Yeah, I mean, and if you think about it, years ago, our grandparents, my grandparents, they got married. They had one date.
Yeah.
They got married. And they were
I like you, and we're going to have kids.
They got married for 50 years. Now, in society, it's like, oh, you got to date somebody for 5 years, be engaged with them for another 2 years, and then you get married. By that time, you've been together 10 years, yo. You just walking down the aisle. It don't make sense. Yo.
And then sometimes they don't do that.
They don't do it. Exactly.
You be engaged for 10 years. Like,
somebody
people that be engaged for like 10 years, like, what's the point? You're not really trying to get married. Like,
it's like, yo, we lost attraction. Like, I don't even like you anymore.
Yeah. Is it a religious holiday?
No, it's not. No, it's New Year's Eve, yo. It's just the New Year.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, as far as the Islamic calendar, like that's not the New Year.
It's not the New Year
exactly for us.
Calendar,
So that's why it goes back to like I was doing some research, and it was pretty much simple. It's like Idul Fitr, Idul Adha. That's it.
Everything else like doesn't
coordinate with Islam.
Because in Islam, it's like
short Google search.
It's innovation.
Exactly.
If it's an innovation, then it's like you shouldn't like indulge in it, because it's like this is not part of
even
birthdays.
They talk about the same thing. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm never blowing out a candle again. For me,
Wallahi,
never again, yo. I told my wife, don't ever.
I ain't eating no cake to somebody with a little candle. I'm not doing that.
Yo, it's crazy if you're going
pre-COVID, yeah. After COVID,
nah. That's funny. But like beyond that, there's like spiritual stuff behind blowing out candles.
But that's what I'm saying. We
don't know these things.
Never
I told my wife, don't ever give me a cake with no candles ever again. That's it.
So I don't know. So I don't know what you looked up, but when I read it, they were saying that I forgot. I don't know if it was like Europeans or something like that. What they used to do was they will blow out the candles for every person who died, and that was one of the reasons why they were saying about like that's how candles came apart with birthdays and all that stuff. But I don't know if it was tied into the actual birthday cake, but it was something about blowing out candles.
Yeah.
So it was.
I heard something similar to that, and again, I don't have all the details. You can do your own research, you know. But like, it was something similar to that. But I think it was more on the fact that they will blow out a candle for every year they escape death, and it was like a praise to some sort of deity other than Allah. So like, if anything that even touches anything like that, I don't want any part of it. You know what I'm saying? Even though the intention's not there, now that I know. It's like that's how we have to be as Muslims. Like if you learn new knowledge, and it's like this is against what my core beliefs are as a Muslim, then we should try to like get rid of it in some way or another. So like that's my first step and I'll learn more. But I ain't blowing out no more candles.
Yeah, inshallah, our birthday's next week, so I won't be
No
blowing out
candles.
no candles.
No candles.
Say your
Nah,
mind,
you
don't
give
buy
me
no
some
candles.
cake. I eat
Yeah,
some cake, but I ain't blowing no
yeah.
candles. Don't give me no song and don't ask me what to wish
But
for.
some of the scholars were saying that even just
Birthday's haram?
celebrating the birthday was.
What's the reason though?
It really wasn't. That's the thing. There wasn't no in detail reason. They were just explaining about the birthday cake.
Of
Yeah.
course,
But
right.
they didn't say anything about actually celebrating like the birthday. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with celebrating another year of life.
yeah.
I mean,
As far as like
I'm
partying
not.
and having a cake.
I'm not educated enough on that. Like, I guess I have to defer to like Muslim scholars and,
Right.
and go more in depth on that,
Any Muslim scholars want to comment on that? You
or
know?
point us to a link.
Yeah,
we can learn more.
I mean, there's a
but-
lot of stuff out there, but it's really not in detail as to why
Right.
it
Yeah.
shouldn't. Like like you said, New Year's. Like, I mean, the fact that it's not a part of the Islamic calendar, maybe that could be a reason,
Yeah.
but there's no religious.
And I also think
background
we
on it.
got to be practical as well. It's like, okay, what do you like? Okay, there's a celebration. Well, what are you doing on the celebration, right? Like, is the celebration, is the part of the celebration, are we doing things that are halal or haram?
And that's
So like, just be real, right?
Yeah,
Like, okay,
yeah,
we celebrate New Year's? Like, what do they do on New Year's? Or
They drink.
They
Don't
drink.
smash it.
But the crazy thing is, you say that a lot of Christians go
Yeah,
to
they go
church
to church
on New
for
Year's.
the church.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
they
like,
pray, they pray.
yeah, so it's like if you're okay, it doesn't say New Year's is haram, but if you go into a New Year's party, the party's haram. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
So, like,
Yeah.
Don't like
You
try
be
to
drinking.
don't BS yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it is, yo.
You know.
And I think that's what he was saying about a lot of the holidays is that the day isn't haram, but the things that you indulge in
Yeah.
could be
Of
haram.
course, yeah.
And he was saying something about sports too, like people watching sports.
Yeah.
And he was saying that like, you might watch a game and there might be a girl with, short shorts on.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, you gotta cover, you gotta lower your
You
gaze.
gotta lower your gaze. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or there might be a commercial with alcohol, and so you gotta
Yeah.
lower your gaze.
Yeah.
Though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause you remember growing up when
We used to they used to fast forward or
and
cut
fast
the TV
forward
off.
everything. And as an adult, when you have kids, you
start to think
do it.
like
You're
that.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't
man.
want my son seeing this, or I don't want my daughter seeing this. So you fast forward stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean?
I used to remember because my dad loved boxing, so I used to watch boxing as a kid. So every time I watch pay-per-view, well, for one, there's no censor on the cursor, but every time they're between the rounds,
Yeah.
you got like
You
change
talk-
the channel or
yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying, look
Yeah.
away because the lady with the holding number 8,
round
and she ain't got nothing on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, same for us, man. Like, Saturday nights watching Snick, all that's on. The little classic intro. My dad, I mute the TV. Turn that garbage.
turn that hip hop
Yeah, mute
crap
the
on.
TV.
You couldn't watch a special guest.
Yeah, the
they
special
had.
guest performers. You got to mute the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all for protection, man. It's all for the better.
Yeah, my dad used to be like when he was when he couldn't mute it in time.
Make sure you couldn't hear it.
Start yelling out a bunch of words.
Bro, I would pay to see a video of that, man. That'd go viral.
Crazy, man. Crazy times, yo.
Yeah, I mean, like
But it
back
was
to New
warranted,
Year's.
man.
Back to New Year's, man. It's like I've never heard anything on it, but like I think we should just use our own like
Yeah,
intelligence.
our own judgment. Yeah,
It's like
We've had some non-judgment moments.
Exactly.
for sure.
exactly. We've had our moments, So
Yeah.
you can't. We're just gonna be honest here, like that. We know that the whole New Year's celebration is
Yeah,
probably something that Muslims shouldn't indulge.
I mean, especially as we get older now. I mean, New Year's is just like it's.
Yeah.
We've had our fun on New Year's.
Yeah.
We've had some good experiences on New Year's. But, as you get older, it's just like it's another year. Alhamdulillah, we're blessed to see another year.
Yeah.
Maybe go out to dinner, send a couple text messages to family and friends, Happy New Year's. But as
Yeah.
far as like celebrating and going to Times Square and
I did that once. I never did
kissing
that
a
again.
random
Yeah.
stranger, that's completely fine.
I think that's a bad idea, no matter what.
Yeah. Did you go with us that time?
That was like my freshman year in college.
It was like a straight blackout, yo. No
Yeah.
cell phones.
Cell phones weren't
yo.
working,
We missed
yeah.
the last train back. We had to sleep at the train station.
Well, I didn't sleep in the train station.
Yeah, I slept at the
y'all
train
did. We
station,
split up.
yo.
There was a couple people.
Yeah.
Couple
Yeah, I
split
didn't
up.
make it back, man. Had to work the next day and everything.
Yeah, it's
It was terrible, man.